All right, well, it is my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for today's event. Her name is Jody Redman. Jody is known for her work as an associate director for the Minnesota State High School League. A lot of us know the Minnesota State High School League for the efforts they put forward to create great opportunities for us to come together and compete and just experience the joy of sport. What Jody has done behind the scenes may surprise you in some of the things that you're probably quite familiar with, but didn't know that there was somebody behind the scenes making it happen. First of all, one of the initiatives that Jody has been part of has become a national initiative, which is called Anyone Can Save a Life. And Anyone Can Save a Life started with the energy around AEDs and access and training so that anybody that comes into our arenas and areas can have access and the confidence to know that they can be part of saving a life if somebody were in any type of an emergency state. The second thing is Jody has been really the driving force and champion behind the initiative Why We Play. And we all know that striving to be the best that you can be inspires others to do the same. And when you succeed and you represent excellence, that excellence transcends what you actually accomplish in your physical endeavors. It's about the leadership qualities that a lot of you represent when you're part of something bigger than yourself and part of a team effort. And so Jody has really helped to provide training to coaches to help all coaches really have the capacity to think about what some of those bigger wins are in life. And not only has Jody made a difference here in the state of Minnesota, she is also a national consultant in this work. So as I introduce Jody, it's her role in her professional work in which she really dedicates herself to elevate and constantly improve the conditions for students to succeed. It's also her heart and the person that she is and the way that she goes about her work to make all of us have the opportunity to be better. So please welcome Jody Redman.
I'm Jody Redman, Associate Director for the Minnesota State High School League, and I am so honored and privileged to be with you today. It is an amazing opportunity to stand in front of so many amazing women who have made such an incredible mark in their own communities and who, to my slide title here, have dared greatly. You think about what you have overcome in the past year and all of the challenges that you have faced and how you have led in your schools and been role models for others. And on top of it, you're amazing athletes and participants in activities. I am just, again, I'm overwhelmed and honored to be with you today. I'm going to start today, and Trent, if you would advance, please. And it's a little hard to see, so I'm actually going to use my piece of paper here in front of me. This is one of my favorite quotes. And it's one of my favorite quotes because it talks about courage. And the courage that we have to have and the courage that we need to find in order to be impactful in our lives, in order to go out and make a difference in the lives of others. This is from Theodore Roosevelt speech. And it's also included as the opener in one of my favorite books by Brené Brown, Daring Greatly. It is not the critic who counts, not the woman who points out how the strong woman stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again. Because there is not effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends herself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if she fails, at least fails while daring greatly. And again, kind of a long quote, But really, it is about daring greatly. It is about entering the arena. It is about having the courage to fail. I'm going to ask, how many of you have failed? Right? Failure in our culture today is looked at as something negative. It's looked at something as a way that somehow we didn't meet the mark. And you know, we didn't. When we failed, but we learned from failure. And I would imagine that all of you, as you have experienced your time as an athlete and your time as a student and your time as somebody who is involved in the fine arts, that you have failed countless times. But you have also stood up and you have put yourself back out there. You know, we all have a comfort zone. And we all like to spend time in our comfort zone, right? Why? Because it's comfortable, right? We don't have to step outside. We don't have to make ourselves vulnerable. It's only though when we move outside of that comfort zone that we grow. And so part of your journey as you move forward in your life, right? Part of that journey is going to be continuing to dare greatly, continuing to move outside of your comfort zone and do things that are uncomfortable, because it is the only way that we continue to grow. So your journey doesn't end with the accomplishments that you have brought to this event today. And they're endless. I know, I've seen all of your resumes and they're incredible. So how do we then move through this space called what's next? Right? Because you're all going to graduate this year and you're all going to go on, and I'm sure you all have college plans and those paths have been set. Let me just share a little bit about my journey. So I was a former four-sport athlete. I was not in actually your seat, but I was the Athena award winner for my high school back in 1986. Four-sport athlete, went on and played at the collegiate level. I loved my experiences. I loved being with my teammates. I loved my coaches. They were amazing people. I have tried to replicate across the course or span of my life that thing that happens when a team comes together, right? It's that belonging, it's that camaraderie, it's those experiences, the memories. So that has been my chase personally as I have moved throughout my life. It's that need to be a part of a team and part of a community. I was a teacher and coach at the high school level. I enjoyed teaching, but there was always something in me that wanted to find something more. What is next for me? I'm not satisfied with where I am today. I went on then and earned my master's degree in sport administration and started working at the University of Buffalo in New York as an event operations director and running their Division I programs. But really missed the interaction with age of students that you are at the high school level. From there, I became an athletic administrator back at Hopkins High School, and then Cooper High School, and then started working for the league, where I have overseen probably many of the state tournaments that you all have participated in. Volleyball and swimming and tennis and just track and field, and there's been a number of tournaments that I have been a part of in running. And I was fortunate enough 6 years ago to begin my work with the NFL in an initiative that is looking at how do we transform sports across our country so that student athletes who are in your seats have coaches who understand the transformational power of what it means to try to grow and develop students to become better people and to understand where their direction might take them. And so that really has been my journey. And it is about stepping outside. It is about ensuring that the past 18 years of experiences that you have had, that you continue to grow and become the person that you are meant to be. So when you think about that question, how have your experiences over the past 18 years prepared you, marked you, inspired you, and challenged you? It's a big question, and it really comes down to purpose. Purpose and relationships is really what life and what this journey is about. One more, Trent, if you would. So we have this language that we spend time talking about. When we think about how do we create a purpose that is something that is going to be with us as we move forward. And we talk about it in this way. How many of you have set goals in your life? Right? All of your accomplishments, of course. You set a goal, you work to achieve the goal, you achieve the goal, you set a new goal. That's what keeps us moving forward. Goals are important because they give us direction. It's something we can shoot for or aim to. So I would encourage you all to continue to set goals in your life. But purpose is different from goals. Purpose is why something exists. Purpose is the reason why some of us get up in the morning, right? It's a deeper drive that lives within us, and it's about the difference that we will make in other people's lives. Goals direct our lives. Purpose is really the difference we're trying to make in other people's lives. So goals have a beginning and an end. This is a great Tony Dungy quote. Goals have a beginning and an end. Purpose doesn't. Purpose is what we live for. So I'd like you to turn to the person sitting at your table, and just as you think about your purpose, your leadership goals, who you want to become, what it is in you that you are aspiring to become, and define the word leader. So if you would just turn to that person next to you and share one word that you think encapsulates the word leader. Oh, will you do it with me?
Word leader. I'm going to say responsibilities.
Why would you choose that?
I think to be a leader, you kind of have to learn how to be someone like an advocate for everyone that you're leading, and I think that comes with a lot of responsibility, and I think that's something that you kind of have to learn and grow with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and flip it. So who could share a word that they shared? Just yell it out. Selfless. Why did you choose selfless? Outstanding. Thank you. Another. Is there another? Encouraging. Why did you choose encouraging?
Because I feel like a leader should always encourage others to accomplish their goals just as much as they would want to accomplish their own.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask for one more.
Selfless.
Selfless. Why selfless?
You have to do what your team for yourself, make sure everybody is supportive and hard.
Thank you. Putting team before self, right? If you look up at the board, this is a common response that we get from all over the country about what it means to be a leader, right? Empathy, kindness, relationships, integrity, having that core that's aligned, that's integrity to what we do and say and how we act. Trent? So purpose isn't about you, right? Purpose is really about what we do for others. It really centers us and gives us a destination. It helps us to lead a life that is other-centered, that is selfless. So with that and those words, I just want to share a little bit about the difference between performance and moral character, because I think especially in our days today, with all of the things that are going on in our communities and our culture, it's really important to understand that performance character, those are skills, go ahead Trent, that govern our relationship with ourself. Things like grit and discipline, determination, right? Those skills are built into sport. Those skills help us with our own lives. They help us, if we have grit and we've used sport or activities to determine or to help us create grit in ourselves, that's a skill that's going to help you be successful. So performance character governs our relationship with ourselves. Moral character governs our relationship with other people. Things like empathy and kindness and compassion and moral courage and having the ability to stand up when we know something that's happening is wrong. Moral character, again, those are the skills that are going to help us to be successful in our lifetime. The relationship skills. We often call these eulogy skills, meaning that these are the things that people are going to say about you. The people that are most close in your lives are going to say about you when you're no longer here, right? So when we think about a purpose. And you can see my purpose up on the board here, that I lead to change the arc of others' lives by creating kind, empathic communities of belonging that inspire intentional action. So I lead for 3 reasons: to create a community of belonging where every person is a part of that community, that enters into that community with empathy, right? With empathy and kindness. So when you think about your purpose, when you think about how you want to move in the world, those word banks that I shared with you, performance and moral character, will you, Trent, go back to that moral character slide for me real quick? Just look at that word bank for a moment. And again, to that person sitting at your table, I would just like you to choose one of those words that you think really resonate. What is that one word that is most important to you as it relates to moral character and how you want to govern your own world or your own life as you move forward in it? So go ahead and turn to that person and just share that one word that you chose and why it's important to you.
I'm going to say kindness.
Kindness.
I think that just being a leader comes with, being kind to everyone, and I think it's kind of something that everyone has to have to be like a good leader.
Outstanding. Thank you. Trent, do you want to go ahead? So again, as I said, that my words, belonging. So I had a high school basketball coach. His name was Coach Dibovic, Coach D. And he was the person in my life when I was in high school that made the biggest or had the biggest impact on me personally. Every day that I walked to his gym, I knew that he was going to be there with a sparkle in his eye. And it was going to be, hey kid, or hey Jode, or I'm so glad you're here today. As high school students, as students in school, period, it's a struggle. There are a lot of challenges that we face on a daily basis. And I know that your coaches were some of and are some of the most important people in your lives as well. So I want to encourage you to go back and make sure that you thank them, right? And I also want you to be aware of that impact that they had in your life. I am about belonging because of Coach D. Because every day when I showed up, I knew I had a place. And he didn't just see me as an athlete. He didn't see me as a means to an end. He didn't see me as somebody that was going to help him be successful and win games. He saw me because I was a human being. He saw me because I mattered to him as a person. He was invested in my life. He knew about my family, right? And so when we think about, again, as we go forward and dare greatly, what are those relationships? How are we going to build them? And really, it's understanding what is most important to us as we grow and develop. And I would say the other skill is empathy, right? How do we walk in other people's shoes? I think if we could, as a culture, I think if we could embrace empathy, that many of the challenges that we face in our culture today would go away. It's really spending a moment and walking in other people's shoes. And it sometimes doesn't even take a moment. All it takes is an awareness. I know in my life, I get up every day at about 5 and I hit the hamster wheel. I get on it, my computer gets opened up, I get my coffee, and I start going, right? And I roll through every single day that way. And sometimes I look back and I go, how could it possibly be April 21st? It was just like November, right? We were just getting ready for Christmas. And all of a sudden it's April. And the reality is that's what life is. Life spins us and puts us on this wheel where we roll. We've got to somehow put our foot in the wheel and stop it so that we can be aware enough to understand what's really going on. You all have been on an incredible journey. You've been on an incredible chase, right? A chase of athletics and schedules and games and ACTs and college prep and getting the applications filled out and getting accepted to whatever the next step in the journey is going to be for you. And one of the things that I fear is that when we get there, we don't have any idea why we're there. And we don't have any understanding of what it is. We might know what we might want to do, but do we have a clear understanding of why we want to do it? What is it really about for us? And it really is about taking some time. And our culture doesn't support self-reflection and really going inside. We call our initiative, where I'm out working nationally now, the Inside Out Initiative. And it's called the Inside Out Initiative because, again, we are working with people, young people your ages, college, or coaches and school leaders, about understanding their own journey and looking inside to find out what's most important to us as we then present ourselves to the world. You can go forward, Trent. So I'd encourage you to think about your why, to think about why it is that you are entering into the field of study that you're entering into. What is it about that? Write it down, define it, spend some time reflecting on it. So it's not just the chase of some great career, right? It's the chase of why I'm choosing that great career and who do I intend to serve in the process. One more, Trent, please. So I'm going to wrap it up with this, right? And it's the quote that I started this with. We have to have courage. We have to be willing to step outside of our comfort zone. We have to be willing to take chances and risks. You know, every time that I changed a career path, oh, it was a struggle and I was so afraid. Because what if it doesn't work out? And what if I fail, right? So what I would encourage, again, is to dare greatly, to step outside of your comfort zone, to take risks, right, and to accomplish much. And I know you will. You have a proven record of it. And again, it is such a pleasure and honor to be with you, to share your special day. And I hope only the best for you in moving forward and whatever that journey might be for you. So thank you.